and this is a slightly devil's advocate question here, what would you say to people who, albeit may not be that familiar with the project, who say, oh, it will never happen because of the distances involved and the practicalities? How would you counter that?
Yeah, and it's of course a reasonable question. I'd say a few things. First of all, we have a strong team, a team who's done these types of projects before, or components of these types of projects before. So, for example, Nigel Williams, our director of HVDC, he was the project director on North Sea Link, and that team has a lot of experience from building out interconnectors in the past. So that's the first thing. On the Moroccan side, we have a great team who were some of the pioneering forces in the 2010s through some of the renewable power build out there in Morocco, and including our vice chairman Paddy Pamanthon, who was CEO of Aqua Power and pioneers a huge amount of solar and wind, and actually sometimes called the Usain Bolt of solar, because he really drove down the costs that we were referring to earlier. So I think strong team who've done some of the key component parts over many decades, so who really have got good deep experience. I think secondly, when you look at it from a technical perspective, actually there's nothing in there which hasn't been done before. So everyone's very familiar with battery, wind, solar. Morocco is a well-established market for renewables. The transmission cables themselves, though they're not interconnector, it's the same technology that have been used in interconnectors, and therefore lots of experience there. We don't go to unusual depths. In fact, that's why we sort of hug the coast. So we've taken away the technical risk there. I think the next frontier for long distance transmission will be deeper waters, but we're not doing that in this project. So that remains well within the envelope of tried and tested, if you like. So I think the difference we've got is scale. But actually, if you break it down into the component parts, things have been done. We've got excellent investors, as I mentioned. We've been really pleased with the market sounding from a debt side. So, from a financing perspective, this is doable as well. So I think, and then finally, I think, we've had great support from the UK and Morocco governments. I think for the Morocco government, it very much aligns with their green industrialization strategy. This project will generate a lot of high quality jobs, in Morocco and in UK, and many thousands more through indirect jobs, because we have a lot of supply chain and local content plans as part of the supply chain. So all of this drives good support and benefit for the countries, and fits the long-term strategies. Yeah, and well that the UK's net zero ambitions. So you put all of those pieces together, and I think that's what makes this project credible. And after all, our investors who've done detailed due diligence, and who know a lot from their own dealings, have really kicked the tires, and are pleased to support us.